Okay, so I am hopefully recording this session now. So just to let you know that this is being recorded, but we will blank out any sort of attendee names or anything, and the chat will not name any names or anything like that. But please feel free to use the chat function if you'd like to. You can turn your cameras on or off, but please keep your microphones on mute unless you are speaking or unless you've been asked to invited to speak. So you're all very welcome to this morning's session using assistive technology to get the most out of your studies. This is the first of our events for our pre-semester engagement program. So today's session will be, my name is Stephen and I'm joined today by my colleague Deirdre from Student Disability and Wellbeing Services, who will facilitate today's session. So Deirdre may wish to, I'll just cover off some housekeeping bits and then I'll hand over to Deirdre. So as mentioned, we are recording today's session. You are able to turn on live captions by clicking the ellipses in the top right hand corner. More options, I think it's called more actions, and then turn on live captions. So the format of today's session is just going to be a short presentation on using some assistive technology apps, and some are available on campus and some are available off campus, and we will then have an opportunity for questions. So just whenever you're watching through the presentation, if you do want to make a wee note of any questions, you can either put them in the chat and we'll get to you at the end, or you can wait until the end and you will have an opportunity to ask your questions then if you'd like to. So we hope you find today's session useful. I hope that I've covered off everything, but maybe Deirdre, do you want to say any introductory stuff before we get into the presentation?
Yeah, hi everyone, welcome to today's webinar. And as Stephen said, feel free to ask questions at the end or in the chat. But if you don't feel comfortable, you're very welcome to contact myself afterwards and email me. And if you have any additional questions and you didn't feel comfortable asking them in the session, that's not a problem. So I'm happy if we start.
Brilliant. Okay, so yeah, like I say, if anyone has any questions, you can fire them in now before we get started, or throughout or after. So okay, I'll just try and share my screen here. Hopefully it works. Deirdre, could you maybe just let me know yes or no if you're able to see it whenever I start? So 2 seconds.
Yeah, I can see that.
Great. And would you mind just doing the lobby? Do you have the? Do you see the lobby there?
Yes, I'm letting people in as we're going on.
No worries. Just because once I start sharing, I can't see the rest of the screen.
No worries.
Okay. Thanks. Right.
Hello and welcome to today's webinar on getting the most out of assistive technology. My name is Deirdre Johnson and I work in the Disability Services here at Queen's University. Today I'm going to give a short presentation about the assistive software that's available on campus and apps that you can access from your home computer. I'm going to share my screen now and start my presentation. What is assistive technology? It's any device, software, or equipment that helps people work around their challenges. It's often used by those who have a disability, but can be extremely helpful for all different learning styles and for those where English is a second language. At Queen's, we're lucky enough to have site licenses for a number of assistive softwares. This means that students and staff can access these when they're on campus. There are also a couple of inbuilt Microsoft and Apple apps that you can use when you're at home on your own computer. Texthelp Read and Write Gold is text-to-speech software. This means that anything on the computer screen can be read out loud. Mindview is mind mapping software. Dragon is speech-to-text software, so students would train the computer to recognise their voice and it would change their words into text. Equatio makes math digital. It's a bit like Texthelp Read and Write Gold, but for numbers, and will read equations and all maths out loud. And there, as I mentioned, there are Apple and Microsoft free apps. They might not be quite as comprehensive as some of the specialist apps, but they're still extremely useful and can be accessed from home. Grammarly is also another really helpful app, and that can be accessed through a free trial, and the basic features can help with proofreading and polishing your academic work. So assistive technology can be used in all areas of your academic journey. It can help with organisation and time management, research and revision. It can help with your assignments, and it can help with online exams. And I'll touch on each of these areas as we go through. So the Read Aloud software, the site license we have is for a software called Texthelp Read and Write Gold. It will read out anything on the computer out loud, but has a number of other features that can be used to help and support with your learning. Apple and Microsoft also both have more basic Read Aloud features, but these can be used on your own computer without being on campus. So for research, assignments and revision, text-to-speech software can help you read and listen simultaneously. This can aid with comprehension and understanding. It can help if you're struggling with pronunciation of technical words. It can also help if you have large volumes of text to read through. It can also help with proofreading your own work. When you hear what is being read aloud, you may identify errors you hadn't been able to see when you were just reading it. Anything that's read out loud by the computer using this software can be saved as an audio file. This means that you can use it for revision at a later date. Texthelp Read and Write Gold has a screen masking function. This means you can shade out parts of the screen, helping you focus on specific lines. This can help with concentration, focus, and help with not misreading the question. Texthelp Read and Write Gold also has a highlighter function. This means that students can highlight text that they have and in different colours, and at the touch of a button these can all be collected in a separate Word document, and this can help with revision notes and researching for assignments. For online exams, Read Aloud software can read exam questions out loud, and this can help prevent misreading questions. The screen masking function again can help focus on text, especially if there's a long exam question. The student may need help with comprehending and understanding what's being asked of them. The Read Aloud and the screen masking functions can help with this. It can help with improving your written work because it can help with proofreading. Also, there's a phonetic spell checker. So if you can make the word look like it sounds, the software will make a very good guess at what word you're trying to spell, and it will spell it correctly for you. Here is just a little example of a Texthelp Read and Write Gold screen. So as you can see here, here's the toolbar. It's very simple. You highlight the text you would like read, and you press the play button, and you can pause and stop when required. The highlighter buttons there are self-explanatory. You can highlight different parts in different colours, and then using the collect highlights function here, you can transfer that to a Word document. On the left, this is the picture dictionary, which I'll explain in a moment. And then here, with a picture of the computer screen with a line through it, is the screen masking function, which you can see below. So the main part of the screen is shaded in blue, leaving only the exam question in white. Now, some students, particularly those with dyslexia, prefer to read through a colour. So you can flip that so that the question is in blue and the background is in white. And you can expand the ruler too, or change it into a completely different colour. And here's an example of the picture dictionary. So the definitions of the word spelled come up in picture form. So this one is wood. So the student can check, is that the word that I'd hoped to spell? And that can help them confirm it. Now I'm going to do a little demonstration of the software. So just share a different screen here. Yep. So here is an example. I'll just go back and make sure that the audio is being shared. Apologies. And here we are. Okay. So here we have an example of a Word document. As you can see, I've already highlighted certain parts of it. But if I would like this read aloud, I simply highlight the section I would like read aloud and press on the play button.
Assistive technology describes specialist hardware and software, which has been designed to improve the ability of the user to perform a task. In an academic setting, assistive technology can support a range of learning styles, abilities, and difficulties and enable students to better meet study requirements.
And again, you just stop it by pressing the stop button. Now, the pace of what's being read can be changed. The gender of the voice can be changed. So there are different aspects that you can fine tune if you were using this yourself. You can also see here the different highlights that I've made here in different colors. And if you press the Collect Highlights button, I'll just show you how that comes out. So you can see here that the different sections that were highlighted have been organized according to color, and even a bibliography has been made as to where that information was found. So that's just a little example of the Texthelp Reading Night Goal software. And let's go back to the presentation. So we'll just move on here to using mind mapping software. So Mindview is the mind mapping software we have a site license for on campus, and it can be extremely helpful for all aspects of your academic progress. And this is the one that I like to use most. It's really helpful when you have presentations to write or documents to write. It can help organize your thoughts really well. So it's good for research assignments and revision, and you can organize your time. If you just need to put all your ideas down, you can just brain dump them, and there's a mind map of your thoughts will be there. Helpful for revision notes, and you can add in references if required. It can help with focus and concentration, and also for those of you who are visual learners, it can create a visual record, which can make it much easier for you to remember the information. It can be really useful for exam support, helping make revision notes on cue cards, helping with essay plans, and your visual ideas can be changed into a Word document really easily. Now, this is just a little example of a mind map, and this is made very, very quickly, just throwing ideas down. You click on the main idea, and then you click with your branches. And just throw down all your ideas in a matter of minutes. I'll just show you a couple of features about Mindview. So here is just a quick mind map that I created. So thinking about university, what are the aspects of university? So I've put lectures, exams, social. If you double click, you can just click on that and add an idea really easily. You could just say accommodation, do another one. So if I wanted to expand a bit more on an idea, you can easily add in a citation or a hyperlink. So here I've added a hyperlink on sport, because I wanted to add in where I had got information from. So you can see a little paperclip there. So if I click on here, so if you wanted to add in where you got the information, so just the BBC News website. Here, I pop in the website details, www. Okay, so it will add that hyperlink onto that section. Again, you can also add citations, and so if you click insert, And you can see here, insert citation. So that's on film. So I've already got an existing source, which is Little Woman. If I try and manage sources, add new, maybe put and press search, and it comes up with all different options for Pride and Prejudice, and I want to reference the 2021 film, so I select that, and that's added it in. So hopefully when I transfer this mind map to a Word document, you'll be able to see these citations and hyperlinks have been remembered. So I'll just, basically to do that, you click on export the current Mindview document to Word, quick Word export. And let's just see if I can, here's one I made earlier. There we go. So we'll change it to a Word document. And as you can see, I've got my main title, I've got my ideas, the original mind map, and the different sections. It's ordered them all, and it numbers them all. This one was prepared before I added in the extra website. We can see how it's referenced BBC Sport website, and I've got my bibliography there as well. So it can, and you can ask it to remember the referencing style that your university uses as well. So it really can provide an excellent structure for writing assignments. So that's another way that this can be used. Let's go back to my presentation. So I'll move on to speech-to-text software, which the software on campus is called Dragon, and Microsoft and Apple do have their own separate versions of this. How can it be used to help you on your academic journey? Well, it can help you dictate assignments, presentations, your exams, or just notes. You can instruct the computer to open programs and carry out functions for you. You don't have to use a keyboard or a mouse, so this is good for anyone who has a physical difficulty. You can search and browse the internet, and you can expand the vocabulary that Dragon knows with your jargon from your course. Let's show you a quick video about Dragon. Let's see. Here we go.
What if there was an easier way to use your computer? Whether you have limited mobility or just want to be more efficient with your time, millions of users already rely on Dragon's best-selling speech recognition software to quickly and accurately dictate documents, search the web, email, and more, all by voice. Whether you're a teacher, student, parent, lawyer, or writer, Dragon will help you achieve new levels of freedom. It's easy to use Dragon. To get started, turn on your microphone, follow the simple setup tutorial, and just start talking. Let me show you some of the things that Dragon can do. Wake up, open Microsoft Word. Set font size to 12 points. Quote response, new paragraph. Thank you for asking our company to issue you a quote on the new pool cover period. Please find our rates below, colon, bold thank you. Underline our rates. Go to sleep. With Dragon, you can use simple voice commands to control your computer. You can even dictate and edit directly into web applications like Gmail or Yahoo Mail. The more you use Dragon, the smarter it will get by learning and adapting to your voice and the words and phrases that you use most often. Wake up. Send email to Mark Jeremiah. Estimate for pool cover. Tab. Dear Mark, new paragraph. Please find attached the estimate for your pool cover period. We took measurements the other day and feel confident we can get this done in the next 2 weeks! If you have any questions, please give us a call at 781-555-5000, New paragraph. Thank you, new line, Kristen. Go to sleep. With Dragon, you will increase the speed, accuracy, and usability of your computer just by using your voice instead of your keyboard or mouse. Make sure to visit our website at nuance.com/dragon to learn more and check out our latest offers. Wake up.
So there you can see how Dragon works. It's really useful, but it's not something you can use at short notice. You do need to train the software to recognize your voice and your accent, but once you've been able to do that, it can be extremely useful. So I'll just go on to the next slide. So the next software is Equatio, and it's particularly useful for those who are studying STEM subjects. You can handwrite maths expressions and it can change it onto the computer and put it into text for you. You can dictate formula equations and it will transfer it into text. There's a formula predictor, a chemical symbol information pack, and there's also you can use it to create quite complicated graphs. Again, I'm going to show you a video about this.
Hey, so if you'd like to become a math master like me, it's really easy. Just use Equatio. You can recognize Equatio anywhere by this blue diamond. Click on it and it opens up your math toolbox, in school or at home. Equatio is a toolbar which sits right here at the bottom of the screen. I'm using Google Docs to show you, but you can use it in lots of other places too. The thing I really like about Equatio is that there's lots of different ways I can complete homework and activities. I just need to click on Insert Math and I can add my formulas. I can speak the math into Equatio. I can also use the handwriting tool to write what I'm thinking onto the screen, or when I really feel like a math whiz, I can type math like a real pro using the prediction tool to help me get formulas and symbols right the first time. It's also got a built-in library of things I can access, like formulas for volume or area, gravity or acceleration, or the quadratic equation. I get access to all of those through the More button, or even just by starting to type the first few letters of what it is I need. Sometimes I prefer to just write math on paper, but I still have to return it digitally. Using the mobile icon, I can just pick up my phone, take a photograph of my written work, and press the Insert Math button. So it takes everything I've written and puts it right into the document, on my computer or Chromebook. I can also fix any mistakes Equatio might have made when it's been reading my handwriting. And do you know what? Equatio is not just about math and numbers. There's also this really cool graphing tool to help me visualize data. You just need to click on the graphing button and start typing your math into the box, and Equatio will plot the lines on the graph for you. You can change the color of your graph too, to suit you. And there's stuff in here for science too. Check this out. There's a periodic table for chemistry, so I can learn more about the elements I'm studying in science class. I just need to click on the periodic table button, and it'll also show me the atomic number of the element, in case I need that too. You know how our teachers are always telling us it's as important to show you're working out as it is getting the right answer? Well, Equatio helps you do that too. When you click on Insert Math, use the Enter key to start a new line of your answer. You can add all your working out by either speaking into your mic, handwriting, or typing, and Equatio captures it all for you. Oh, and those math quizzes that your teacher sends out for you to do, Equatio even works there too. So you can answer the questions whatever way is easiest for you. Tap on the Insert Math icon and you can add your answer and work the same way as before. Equatio also has a feature called MathSpace, which gives me access to lots and lots of different shapes that I can use for answering or exploring math questions and problems. but more about that in another video. So, if you want to make your math classes and homework more interesting and easier to understand, check out Equatio. Remember, just look for the blue diamond and you'll be a math master like me in no time.
You can see that is quite an exciting software that could be really helpful if you have maths involved in your course. And just coming to the end of the presentation. Grammarly is often used by many students, and you may know all about it already, but it's a cross-platform cloud-based writing assistant. This is what these are their words, not mine, that reviews spelling, grammar, punctuation, clarity, engagement, and delivery of mistakes. So basically, it can identify and search replacements for any mistakes it identifies. It's another way to polish and proofread your work. And as I said before, the basic option is free. I've included website links here for all of the software that I've talked about, and most of the software have demonstration videos. You can learn a little bit more about them, and there are training videos as well, because there are some complicated features that can be really useful. But I hope you've enjoyed the presentation, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Great. Hopefully, is that me back on?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Funny doing a webinar on technology, and even a year later, and still trying to clarify everything, make sure everything's running great. So thanks very much, Deirdre, for that presentation. That was really, really useful. I know I've also personally used some of those. I think we used Dragon and the Mindview one, and I can honestly say that it really helped throughout my degree and even into career as well. So I'm sure that find them very useful. So do you want to we can do a bit of Q&A now? So if anyone either wants to put their hand up or put a message in the chat function, whatever works best for you, and we can take a number of questions,
Obviously, if I was studying a STEM subject, I think I'd find the Equatio app really helpful. It looks like it could be really useful, because I think it is quite difficult to put equations and maths onto a Word document. So it does look like a great feature.
Definitely. Yes, my background was more of an art subject, so we didn't do too many equations apart from one module with a few stats, and even that was enough to make me run a mile. So perhaps Equatio could have come in handy there. Save me some.
It does, yeah.
Great. Anybody want to ask any questions? I maybe have one. I had heard about. I'm not sure. Maybe if you don't know the answer to this, Deirdre, we can make the information available after the webinar. But I'd heard about actually that the university has a Windows Virtual Desktop. So I'm not sure. Basically, I think there's a limited number of licenses for that, and we have some information on the Windows Virtual Desktop on my Queen's, but. Do you know any of those ones that are on campus only? Do you know, is it possible to use those off campus when using the Windows Virtual Desktop, or is that something that is more on a case by case basis for the software?
No, it was trialed last year, because some of the apps were a bit more difficult to get on the remote platform, and I don't think Dragon is available. They were looking into that further, but I'm pretty sure that wasn't. But as far as I know, Texthelp, Read and Write Gold and Mindview were available, and students could access it through the virtual desktop, which obviously when learning was online was brilliant, because that made them still available for everybody. Hopefully we won't have to do that too much, but if you're using it on campus, it's really useful to be able to use it at home too. So yeah, so if you're familiar with the icons, then when you go onto virtual platform, then you can see if they are still available. And if you're on campus looking for Texthelp, Read and Write Gold, Mindview, Dragon, on all the computers, the department computers or library computers, there's a red A for accessibility on the desktop of the computer, and you click on that, and that's where you'll find these pieces of software.
That's great, thank you. Yeah, so just to make everyone aware, if you weren't aware of the Windows Virtual Desktop, it may be useful just in terms of some of the setup that we have on our on-campus PCs and devices, and then it's just a way for you to sort of access a very similar look, basically the same softwares and packages within reason on if you are at home. So say you're maybe learning from home, or you have a blended style program, or if the unfortunate circumstances arise where you maybe need to self-isolate and aren't able to come on campus, the Windows Virtual Desktop can be really, really handy. So as I said, there are there's like a limit of a number of licenses that can be used at any given time. So you may find during peak times that the system is fully booked. But I don't think, even in the last year, I don't think it has sort of reached that peak too often, if ever, if at all. So there should be certainly a lot of capacity there. So it just really complements the likes of Canvas and your VLE and some of the other services that you'll be using throughout your program.
Yeah.
So we have a question here in the chat. Sorry, Deirdre?
No, I just said I noticed that as well. Asking about downloading the Dragon software. So it's not available through the virtual learning environment, as we were just saying. You can access it on campus. There are a couple of computers with Dragon on it. So it isn't something that you can access from home. If we have students with a disability who are registered with us, they may be eligible for funded support if they're a UK or Republic of Ireland student, and they, depending on the disability, may be recommended Dragon software, and in that instance students would have it on their own personal device, but just campus-wide it's just available in some computer suites and in the library.
Thank you.
No worries.
Oh, sorry, I think I'm nearly about to raise my own hand. Anybody else want to ask any questions? Or have there been any sort of common questions, Deirdre, that maybe you have maybe got previously? I know sometimes they are quite specific, or maybe down to a module level or a program level, but any other sort of questions that you've had in previous sessions that may be useful?
Yeah. People have asked about using assistive technology in exams, because I know at some universities that can happen. It doesn't generally happen as a rule here at Queen's. At the moment, we still often have human support for reading, for reader and scribe. That's not to say these things won't change in the future. So in terms of it being supported for exams at the moment, it would be for online exams, and if you had it on your own device. But yes, I think I definitely think in the future for students it would be useful to be able to use assistive technology, but you want to be able to use it in all areas of your life and in your future working life. So, and that become your normal way of working. But there's some features that could prove advantageous, I suppose. So, for example, Texthelp Read and Write Gold does have a translate function. So if somebody was studying languages, that might obviously put them at an advantage. So there's certain features. There are some pens that you can get that read out text. You run the pen over the text and it will read it out loud, and they have created an exam only version, so you can't look up the internet or anything else via that medium. So there's certainly exam only options that could be introduced.
Very good. That's very interesting. I wasn't actually aware of that. The pen on exam only setting.
Yeah, there's an orange one which you can use in an exam situation, and in the white one, I think you can actually look up a dictionary, and there's little online features. So that obviously isn't exam friendly.
Brilliant, thank you. And yeah, I think it's also worth reflecting just on the particular course that you may be studying. So again, And depending on your learning style, some of these softwares can be really helpful as well. So for Mindview, with law, it actually lent itself quite naturally, to mind maps, to making sure that you thought about particular themes, or there was case law, or you had a topic that you just could have had. Like law, there's always a rule and then an exception, so it's really good to, or several exceptions, so it's always really good to just kind of, as you say, brain dump onto a mind map. And also it can come in really handy for revision, like if you're in the library, and rather than reading through reams and reams of paragraphs and text, a mind map can be a really visual way of obviously learning and studying and
Yeah.
revising. So some of these softwares, also try them out as well. You may think that you have one particular learning style or preferred learning style. Sometimes I find that changing it up a little actually helps me to retain information even better. So some of these are more auditory based and some are more visual, so do try to use them.
Yeah.
We have another question in here. Is the mind mapping software available for us offline, as in for individual use?
Yeah, well, I think last year we did test it for the virtual learning environment, so I'm pretty sure it is available on the virtual learning environment. I do know that Mindview often offer a 3-month trial as well, and it's it can be used offline, just working on document, but it also links online as well, so you can look up references and citations. So sometimes it will use the internet too. There are some really good demonstration videos, and the guy who does them, he's really good. And he's got all these clever ways of inserting pictures. So if you're really visual, and the way you would revise is, making a picture or having it much more visual. You can insert pictures, you can insert sound bites. I mean, it's really, the sky's the limit with this software. It is brilliant. So it's a one that is worth getting a 3-month trial. So you could use it on any computer, and just see if it suits you. But yes, it should be available through the virtual learning environment as well.
Great. And just you mentioned there pictures, and it just occurred to me there that we could also recommend students use Canva, for the likes of diagrams and maybe some basic graphics or things like that could then be imported in to Mindview. Or
Yeah.
so if you're not familiar with Canva, it's a free program. There's a free program which has so many extensive features, and there's also a pro plan if you would like to upgrade. And then it also just made me remember then the Digital Skills Discovery Hub that was developed last year by the Centre for Educational Development. So the Digital Skills Hub contains, or Digital Discovery Hub contains, a lot of different platforms and technologies and resources that you can use. If you, I think it's fair to say that even with face-to-face teaching, it'll still be augmented by a lot of digital learning opportunities, and particularly whenever using virtual learning environments like Canvas and others. So what we can certainly issue the link after this webinar in the email, in the follow-up email. But if you do want to Google, QUB Digital Skills Hub or Digital Discovery Hub, it should come up pretty high up on the results list. So do take some time to navigate it. It was a lot of work went into building it, and it's really extensive and comprehensive. So there will certainly be lots of information depending on your course, depending on your preferred learning style, or just depending on whatever the topic is, whether it's lectures, tutorials, assessment, revision, group work, all sorts of different things. So, if you're new to university, or even changing into a different year, some of your classes may look different, some of your assessments may operate slightly differently. So do try to, avail of as many sort of different opportunities as possible. Figure out what works for you, and do a little bit of trial and error. And as Deirdre mentioned, there's really fantastic training videos and demonstration videos, and many of these are either on their website or even YouTube. And I'm sure there's probably a few who maybe have done testimonies or reviews or their user experiences of using certain kinds of assistive technology. So that's really the beauty of some of these. There's lots of different experiences, and you maybe if you're studying chemistry, for example, you can just add that on to your search, and then you may find something which is a little bit more geared to how you can apply it to your specific course.
And I think some students will use all software they can get their hands on, but others will just dabble and find, as Stephen said, what works for you. Until a couple of years ago, we had all really established how we learn in a school environment and a university environment. Obviously, we've all had to relearn that, so we've probably all discovered skills that we didn't know we had, and possibly weaknesses, in my case technology, that working technology, but so find out what works for you and use it, and then maximize your strengths as well. So it's not always looking for the things you can't do well, it's sometimes looking for the things you do really well but making them even better. A couple of the software, yes, maybe it takes a little bit of work to learn to use them, like Dragon, but very worth it, as Stephen said, once you can. If that's the way you best learn and best deliver your academic work, well, then it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. The Dragon one, I could see it progressing sort of as I progress throughout my course as well. So it absolutely does learn your voice. It learns the specific sort of maybe words that you maybe are quite specific to a niche to your course, for example. So it's not something that they just say on the product, as a promotional tool, and it doesn't actually work whenever you get there. It does, like it's really good actually. So that's part of it's a long-term investment, I think, to use Dragon. Yeah.
I mean, there are such a range of different softwares out there, and ones that we don't have site licenses for, but there's some software that is very subject specific, and you can add it onto the background of your computer. So if you're doing law, it will know lots of law jargon. If you're doing medicine or a medicine-based subject, then it will know lots of medicine jargon. So that can be really helpful as well, because sometimes, with ordinary spell checkers and even with Texthelp Read and Write Gold, there is a limit, and they don't go into all the scientific jargon necessarily. So there's different spelling apps that we don't have site license for, but that some students do use if they have particular difficulty remembering spellings for different jargon aspects of their course. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I also just want to reflect on the point that sometimes with assistive technology, it's not even for think about the benefits that you can derive from that. So yes, you may be saving time, you may be improving your efficiency, you may be improving your ability to retain information and recall information, particularly in those sort of like closed book assessments, where the visual accounts may help. But also think about the benefits, even in terms of your assessment. Some of these can maybe help to improve your marks or improve the quality of your work. If you're doing written assignments, sometimes maybe markers like to see how you've kind of gone about this. Mind maps may be good even in terms of resources, citations, references, where you maybe are going beyond the required reading, where maybe you're dipping into some of the more optional reading and recommended reading. So think about also just consider how the benefits that you can derive from using assistive technology for a range of different reasons.
Definitely. In terms of revision as well, the multi-sensory approach is always a good way. So if you're seeing it and you're hearing it and you're writing it, these are all going to help you remember it and be able to reproduce it. So that's where the visual aspect can come in, and the audio aspect. So you're not just reading, if you're seeing pictures, you're hearing about it. It can be really helpful.
And if you're just a plug for another service, actually, the Learning Development Service. So if you're an undergraduate student, and you do want a little bit more one-to-one support or guidance on, maybe how to revise, how to study, what learning style works best for you, they have some fantastic resources. So the Learning Development Service are based in the Student Guidance Centre. If you just Google QUB Learning Development Service or QUB LDS, again, we can put these links in the follow-up email. You can book one-to-one appointments with them. You can attend some of their open workshops, which are run throughout the academic year. And that's, as I said, that's an undergraduate service. If you are postgraduate, the graduate school offer many similar programs but geared towards postgraduate thought and postgraduate research programs, and again on like academic skills writing and referencing and things like that, particularly if you're going from an undergrad to a postgrad program. Sometimes there may be a little bit of transition there, so do make contact with the graduate school and check out what's on offer for them. But yeah, lots of services and resources and people who are willing to help and offer guidance and support. So I don't see any more sort of questions or hands raised. If anyone does have any sort of final questions, by all means, just feel free to come on, or otherwise we can draw the session to a close if you want. Deirdre, any sort of final sort of comments from you or anything that you want to mention?
No, just thank you very much for attending. And it may be that some questions are raised once you start looking into the software a little bit more. So do feel free to come back and ask any questions if you have any. I know with the disability service, but I'm happy to answer any questions, whether they're disability related or not, or assistive technology or not. We can always point you in the right direction. If you're new coming to Queen's, good luck with your academic journey and your course. I hope it's fantastic. There are just so many support services on campus and out there. Please, if you're having any difficulties, just get in touch with someone and hopefully we can help and make things more straightforward for you. So have a great semester.
Great, thank you, Deirdre, and yes, thanks everyone for attending. So we will follow up with an email and the recording of this session, as well as the link to a feedback form. So we would really appreciate if you could take some time to complete that feedback form, just so we can improve our events in the future. That would be great. So finally, yes, just to reiterate our thanks, and also feel free to look at what else is on offer for the pre-semester engagement program this week. Do check out My Queens. All the full program is there, and the events, including our event on Sunday, our flagship event, the Compassion Challenge, which will take place on the front lawn marquee. So yeah, check out the program, and if you do have any questions, by all means, feel free to reply to the email, and we can certainly try and point you in the right direction. So thanks everyone, and best of luck for the year ahead.
Thank you.